Non-compliance with instructions is a big problem for healthcare practices, because if the patient doesn't turn up, there's a gap that can't be filled, and that's a big problem. So everybody wants to minimise that, but I think the healthcare professionals within the practice are guilty of perhaps not employing the best methods of communication or ways to minimise this phenomenon. And I see that there's 3 hotspots for failure in this area that can be addressed in practices. The first one is that the instructions weren't given at all. So, you thought it was given, but in fact there weren't any instructions given to the patient at all. The second one is that the patient just actually doesn't understand the communication that's come through. So, if you put yourself in a patient's shoes, they're listening to something perhaps on the phone, they've rung up, they're nervous about the implications of the appointment, the outcomes that it might mean for them and for their family, and perhaps the effect on their life as well. So there's a lot of nervousness around making medical appointments, and as a result, as patients, we're not listening 100% to the information that's given to us. So if it's not given in a way that's easy for us to receive as patients, or perhaps there's too much information that for us to receive in one bite on the phone call, there needs to be another method of communication to back that up. So for example, if you give me instructions on the phone, then follow it up with an email or a text message or something that provides me those same instructions in another method, so that I can reread and reinterpret that information as the appointment comes closer. I think the third area that's a real hotspot is the fact that the method of communication chosen doesn't work for the patient at all. For example, if you were an older patient that was technology challenged, then sending me a text message or an email, I might not receive that. Maybe I'm not on those methods of communication, where in fact a phone call would have worked. Conversely, as a younger person who's very technology efficient, I might prefer to receive my information via text message or an email, or even another method of communication. So the communication method has to be appropriate. And I think if you combine all 3 of those hotspots for failure, then I suspect most practices are actually guilty of doing at least one of those. People can go to get a copy of my book by going to the URL, which is patientsforlifebook.com.au.